Jake Lloyd came out earlier this week and said he was doing better because his therapy was working. He needed therapy after all that hate he got 25 years ago when he portrayed a young Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace. The, the guy actually was traumatized because he got to act a role in Star Wars as a kid. Well, let's hope the kids from Skeleton Crew don't suffer the same fate. This is the review of champions, and I'm your host, Grandmaster. With me is a powerful panel made up of the finest champions Sakar has to offer. Let me introduce them to you. First up, voice only, we have Mr. Lord Deathman. How are you?
The force is with me.
Well, I hope the force is with the original himself as well. Mr. Taylor first. How are you?
I am good.
Sounds like it. And last but certainly not least, we have Merv. Is the force with you today?
Oh, it's Wizard.
Yeah, I still can't get used to that. But you guys keep trying. Today we're going to talk about episode 7, the penultimate episode of Skeleton Crew. But before we do, I want to ask you all to help us out. Like and share this video and subscribe to our channel and join our forum at subcar.freeforms.net. Click on the link in the description. That will take you to the setup and account page. And yeah, you can join our conversation on the board. We talk about that a lot, actually. So you could be in the know. This is your final warning. We're going to discuss the content of this week's episode in depth. So if you haven't seen this week's episode, do that first and then come back to our video. Silvo, or whatever his name was this week, tries to talk his way out of the airlock. And, well, meanwhile, the kids arrive at Aten. That's a lot of ads in a row, don't you think, Taylor?
That is a lot of ads, but I am glad that we are back to at Aden and Long John Silver got out of the airlock.
Mm-hmm. Did you like this week's episode?
I love this week's episode. I love this show. I'm completely sold.
Mm.
It's just a great show. It's so tight. The writing is so tight. Everything is set up and paid off. Everything is earned. The dialogue is good. The human interaction all feels real.
Mm.
And we'll talk details when we get into the deep dive, but I'm totally pleased.
Lord Deathman, are you pleased?
I am very much so. I thought this was an incredibly satisfying finale for what's been an excellent show along the way. We got a lot of revelations, a lot of loose ends that got tied up. I'll echo what Taylor has said. It's just a great show from start to finish in terms of the acting, performances. I love the production design on the show. It's very unique, yet it fits in extremely well with Star Wars. And they've had, I think my favorite aspect of the show is that they've had genuine surprises where at least I didn't feel like I saw them coming in the overall progression of the narrative. So very satisfied with this episode and the show overall.
Yeah, Merv. All has been set up for the final episode next week. Are you happy with what you saw this week?
Yeah. For the most part, this episode was very good. And they successfully managed to get me to absolutely loathe Jod. And I just like a lot of the chemistry with the kids. You know, there's a lot of little scenes in this episode between the kids that I thought was really good. And I'm glad they're home. I'm glad they finally got here instead of still wandering around the galaxy out there. So I'm excited to see how it all wraps up.
Okay. Well, yeah, I agree with the panel. It was a great setup for the finale. Everything is so far has been spot on, and I'm really, really, really loving this show, which I actually did not expect before this all started that I would love this show so much. Well done. Well, Lord Deathman, do you have any criticisms of episode 7, or you just want to sing its praises for a little bit more in detail.
Yeah, unfortunately, I am going to be singing praises in just a bit more detail. I will try to keep it brief and just go with some of the bigger talking points about the episode that I thought were really cool. The kids finally reaching at Atten, understanding the true nature of Atten as a Republican mint, I think is the deal with it. I love the reveal of Jod's lightsaber. Anything involving lightsabers is always cool, but this, hinting at his past and all of that kind of stuff really went over well with me. The confrontation with the supervisor. I mean, I could really go on and on in this list. Just Jod's true motives being revealed in general was great. I think Jude Law, who I never thought would fit well into the Star Wars universe, has really done a great job of disproving me in that he's like the best thing I think as a character that has happened to Star Wars in a very long time. So yeah, really love that lightsaber ignition scene. That was one where you kind of wear out the tape, kind of doing a quick rewind and so and so. And yeah, the reveal of the vaults and so forth and so on. All of that stuff really stuck out to me as memorable moments in the episode. And I've got, again, nothing but praise for the show.
Mm. Well, Merv, you have any criticisms? Kids annoying you by now, or still everything is great?
I have a few mild nags, I'll call them.
Okay, let's hear them.
So I'm getting a little, I don't want to say tired of it, but the kids constantly having their like agency pulled away by being captured by Jod or subdued by Jod or captured by pirates or whatever. It's getting a little tedious at this point, I think. Like, they escape up, they're back in the tractor beam. Oh, now they're fighting back up. Now they're, sitting on their hands and knees and you stay silent and go with the flow. So I did get a little bit of that by the second time they were captured in this episode alone. So that was kind of like, yeah. But it was kind of short lived. Although the way that the episode ends, maybe it isn't. So we'll find out. I was a little confused as to the security system on Atten, how they are they don't ask Jod for credentials or any kind of proof on who he is. He's just like, oh, here goes the vault. You can go right in and do whatever you want. And like that's kind of the gist. There's probably going to be more to that with the next episode. I'm sure the supervisor plays a role in a lot of this. That he's probably coming on the way. So speaking a little prematurely maybe, but just their lack of any kind of single check verification to allow Jod access to the vaults felt a little bit like, oh really, this is Fort Knox of the Republic, and guy just flies in.
But that's the point, because he can fly in. They trust the system. If only like what was the name? The representatives can fly in.
Emissary.
The emissary. They can fly in because they have the correct ship. Otherwise, they will get shut down, and nobody else has a ship like that. And I don't think droids have like a perception of time. Like it's been ages since an emissary came down. They don't have any knowledge of the outside world, that the Republic has fallen, the Empire has fallen. So they just trust their system blindly. Their computers, they get the right input, so they act like that. They don't have creative thinking in this case.
Which it's fine. I mean, it makes sense, but it's also just a little bit, the level of security that there's a big loophole, which isn't an uncommon thing for Star Wars to put a giant loophole on something or a giant flaw in something. But it's basically, if somebody finds this ship, they have access to all the gold. That's what it boils down to.
I get it, because I was while I was watching the episode, I was like not streaming at my TV, but I was wanting to stream at my TV. Hey guys, ask some critical questions. Ask the kids what's going on, because it's not normal. They're kids from Eden in a ship like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
even them just not raising a stink or trying to say anything. But I get it. He had a lightsaber. He was threatening to chop their heads off, and they were probably a little bit too scared at that point to raise any red flags. But it's fine. The only other thing that I kind of had a little bit of a take with was Brutus, my main man Brutus, the Wolf Man, and dual wielding blaster pistols or whatever. Going out with kind of a whimper. That I was really looking forward to seeing like the Jod versus Brutus moment, or Brutus doing something else crazy after that opening scene in the very first episode, and it just felt like, yeah, it did a good thing in that it raised the level of hatred for Jod, or the level of like, you see that he has zero mercy and is willing to shoot an unarmed, defenseless person, blah blah blah, the whole pirate thing. But I did dislike that it was Brutus who happened to be the scapegoat for showing Jod's level of villainy essentially in that moment. So that was a little disappointing to me. But all in all, like I absolutely loved the scenes with the kids reuniting with their parents. I thought that felt earned. And that's another moment that gave me Goonies vibes. The end of Goonies has a lot of that. I really liked just a little touch with Jude Law, as cool as he is with like his, force powers and lightsaber and all that stuff. I thought he looked a bit like a lughead carrying around that lightsaber, like especially when he's threatening the kids. He's wielding it like somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing, and I like that touch because it kind of signals to me that he doesn't use it all that often. Like he might have had this thing for 20 years, but he's only used it a few times, or not a few times, but you know what I mean? He didn't look to me like a well-practiced Count Dooku in the art of lightsaber battles. You know what I mean? He just kind of wields it like a hammer. And I kind of like that little touch. At least that's the vibe I got in this episode whenever he took 33's head off, and then he's just like threatening them with it and basically using it like a child would. I thought that was pretty fun. And just overall, like this show is really fun aesthetically, and the kids playing on the ship in the beginning of the episode, like that just all, like, it's just fun to watch. It's a really fun adventure show.
Taylor, do you agree with the criticisms Merv had about this episode, or is he nitpicking it apart and it is just great? He should have nagged.
They're legitimate. That's fine.
Okay.
I don't have any really nitpicks myself.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I liked in the beginning when the parents were doing everything they had to do to get that drone launched, send that signal to the kids. And I like how it ended up being more than that. Okay, they ended up partially showing the pirates the way into the planet, inadvertently. But I love it, how that was all written, how it all came together. And then, of course, him using it as leverage against the kids. I mean, Jude Law, whatever the heck name he's using here, straight up villain at this point. And I love how they built up to that. Straight up villain, like I said, decapitated SM-33, threatened to kill the kids, threatened to chop their parents up in front of him. Now that he knows what they look like, I can go find them and I can chop them to pieces. Murdered Brutus without blinking an eye. And now he is fixing to rob the mint. If he can just get that pirate ship through the barrier, I guess he's got to work with the supervisor to do that. So yeah, I mean, all of it was just really good, I think. And again, it's all it's all one story, and it's all built up over all 7 episodes, and it's all come together really well. I really like the part when they finally got back with their parents. Of course, now they're all prisoners and may not even realize it at this point. But I'm really anxious to see how it all pays off at the end and how close he gets to actually robbing the mint, the gigantic. What they say? How many of these vaults do you have? Is over 1,000? the number they listed. I think one was quite enough. There was so much gold in there. I'm like,
It's a big galaxy.
You're gonna flood the market if you put it all out there. Your currency will lose value if you put it all out there at once. That's all I'm saying to you. Just take one vault worth of gold. But yeah, I say it's all working out really well. The kids are great. Again, the acting is good. They were scared. They acted like they were scared without, screaming and crying and panicking and acting like idiots, because they're not idiots. They're smart kids. They're brave, but they're not superhuman or anything. So again, it all gets portrayed very well in this show. And I think, and any real Star Wars fans, I think, should really love this show, because I think it's really peak Star Wars.
Yeah, it is what Star Wars is supposed to be. A lot of fun, a great adventure, good versus evil, and hopefully good will win. Are you looking forward to Jude Silvo Jaw kicking the bucket next week?
Oh, he might. We'll see what happens. I won't be upset if he dies, because he's really an a-hole at this point. But if they're planning on a season 2, who knows?
Yeah.
Season 2 is we've got to find. He gets away with something, and we've got to find him and bring him to justice, or who knows what. But if he's just the big bad for this season, and they put that lightsaber right up to his, I'll be okay with that too.
Yeah, it's Disney. They will probably not put it up as but
they'll imply it.
Exactly. It won't exactly
off screen.
But I will be cheering when he gets unalived, as they say nowadays. Let's just move on to a rating for this week's episode. And I'm gonna start with you, Merv. I want to hear your number for this week's episode.
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. In a mild prediction, I don't think they're gonna kill Jude Law off, but I do think he's gonna lose a hand, because what's more pirate than losing a hand and having to replace it with a hook for season 2,
Exactly.
So 8 out of 10 for this episode. I'm looking forward to the finale.
Yeah, Star Wars, they usually use loose hands, so that's good. Yeah. It's been a while, so we could use hands. Taylor?
I will give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay. And Lord Deathman?
I'm also going to give it a 9 out of 10, and I'm also rooting for a certain someone to lose an appendage. They don't have to get killed, but the classic loss of an appendage will satisfy me.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 as well. I really love this episode. I don't know what Merv is on about, but anyway, let's just go. Sometimes, yeah. And you know what? I will settle for Jaw to have like the worst case of diarrhea for like a few days. That would be fine too. But anyway, that will conclude this week's review of Champions of episode 7 of Skeleton Crew. We hope you have enjoyed our discussion today. If you did, you can help us out. Like and share this review and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you really want more of us, you can join our forum at sakar.freeforms.net. We would love it if you do that. Next week, we will discuss the season finale. We're really looking forward to it because, as you know, we love this show. You can also check out our review for the first season of Creature Commandos, the first outing in the DCU. It's out on our channel this weekend. And next week, we're going to start a brand new series on our channel. But what that is, we will keep under wraps for now. Be on the lookout for that, people. For now, I want to thank you all also on behalf of our champions and wish the Force to be with you. Bye.